Okay. Thank you guys for coming on. I know we'll have more people popping on later, but I appreciate you guys showing up so promptly. And I'm going to respect your time. We're going to get started. So, my announcements are very short and simple, but I am going to start with there were a lot of you in the last 2 weeks that had reached out to me about questions and wanting to know more about daily method of operations. And there were a couple of you I had really long conversations with about it. And then, as you know, I did a live on Team Act, and I talked about when Michelle and I did Oprah's Big Give and how we were just so focused on the end goal and what we needed to do that every day we were in action, and that we didn't even think about a DMO because we just knew the action we needed to take to get to the end result. But I also know that we like lists, right? And so as we're time blocking and giving our business time, we want to know in that time, how can I be most effective? And I think it is nice to have a list to work off of. And I want to remind you as well, there is a daily method of operation on the onepersonbigdifference.com site. But I reached out to Maria and Carrie. They're always there for me, always. I love them so much. And I asked them if either one of them would come on and train us. And Maria didn't even hesitate. She immediately said yes. So I'm so grateful for that. And then Carrie gave this amazing message. And
Play it. You should play it so they can hear.
I will. Should I just play it right now?
Oh.
Yeah, I'll play it at the end for you guys. I'll play
Okay.
what Carrie. But one thing Carrie mentioned, the very last thing she mentioned was the one thing she's focusing on right now is getting people to Long Beach. And she brought up a great point. She said, of course, we have Cancun coming, but we know when all is said and done, not everybody that can get to an elite academy is going to be able to get to Cancun. And so Long Beach happening in less than a month, our next big corporate event is not until the following year for Global Convention. So we will have regional events in between. But when you think about that, it just goes to show just how crucial this Long Beach Elite Academy is, and the fact that we are launching one of our biggest products to date, Super 7, or whatever they're going to call it. And you do not want to miss out on that because we don't know if the product will be available right after the event. So if you have not registered, you guys, let's have a conversation, because this is just not something that you're going to want to miss. And then I just really quickly wanted to give a shout out, since I did the last shout out on September 5th for people that have enrolled since the beginning of the month. I just want to shout out to Christy and David Westmoreland. They got a new customer. Diana Rawlings got a new customer. Angelina out of Colorado, brand new customer. That hasn't happened in a long time for her, and I'm so proud of her. Jen Dykstra, another new customer, girl, way to go. And Dawn Turner, 2 more customers. She is on fire, you guys. So congratulations to you guys for your enrollments since the 5th. I'm so proud of you. Okay, so let's get to it. Maria Williams is our special guest tonight. She is going to train us on daily method of operations and her mindset behind it. She is an Elite Pro 9. She is in our upline as well. And Maria is a wife, mother, and entrepreneur. Maria was born in Brazil and immigrated to the US when she was a baby. She grew up in Massachusetts, where she majored in business administration from the University of Massachusetts with a minor in human resources. Maria spent 20 years as a human resources professional in the manufacturing industry in Massachusetts before moving to Arizona and starting a whole new career in network marketing, where she has now built a multi-million-dollar home-based business, her first time in network marketing. Maria works from her heart every day to help others achieve their dreams and goals of financial and time freedom. And when Maria is not working with her team, she spends a lot of time with her husband and 2 sons. And I added this, one of her sons, Isaiah, I saw she just moved him to St. Louis, where he will be a nurse at the St. Louis Children's Hospital in the pediatric intensive care unit. And she has Noah, who plays football at Stanford University. He's number 9. I'll let Katie on. And you guys, I have to tell you, this is why events and winning incentive trips are so crucial, because I remember being in Puerto Vallarta with Maria, and we all went to this local bar and watched Noah on the big screen playing Stanford, and he made like this big play, and I couldn't take my eyes off Maria. I wasn't watching the game. I was watching the game through the eyes of Maria, and it was just, oh, her love for those boys. And the fact that she has built this business, you guys, most importantly, so that she gets to go and do what she needs to do and be where she wants to be to support her boys whenever they need her. What a gift, right? So, Maria, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm so grateful you said yes.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, the minute you said it, I'm like, sure, I'll come on and I'll tell them I love to talk about this because it really is so simple, and I'm going to make this super simple for all of you. But, you know, you brought up a great thing talking about being able, you know, to just go when I want to go. Like, I have no boss. I have to ask for no vacation time. It's just the freedom to live your life and do the things that you want to do. So, you know, you all need a big, huge commitment. Like, what do you want out of this business? Because you have to have this burning desire of what you want in order to put the time and the effort in to get what you want, right? So if what I feel right now is that all of you really need is a huge burning desire. My burning desire has always been from day one, my boys, right? My family. It's I wanted to build this so they could go to whatever school they wanted to go to whatever college, whatever university, whatever they chose, whatever their path was. I wanted to be able to give them the best, right? Because the point that I put there that I moved here from Brazil when I was a baby is, we were really just middle class. My parents came here with nothing at all and just worked really, really hard to, give us a, middle class life. And I didn't go to college right away. I say I have this degree, right? But when I graduated high school, we moved back to Brazil for 4 years. And then we came back to the USA. I had a full-time job and I went to college at night. It took me 10 years to get my degree. So it wasn't a 4-year. I didn't have that opportunity. Couldn't be part of a sorority. I didn't go away to school. I didn't have all. So I really wanted my kids to experience that. I wanted them to have what I didn't have. And that's kind of when we have a family. We want our kids, we want to always give a better life to our children, right? My parents moved here was to give a better life to me and my sisters. And so the same thing with my kids. Whatever I do is I wanted to be able to give them the opportunity. And I'm telling you, it's the greatest gift of all to be able to, I'll be gone every single weekend, just like last year. I was gone every single weekend to watch my kids' sports. So last year was football and swimming. Swimming is over, unfortunately, so it's going to be football every weekend. But I can pick up and go every weekend and watch my son wherever he's playing. And in between, last week, I drove my other son 21 hours from Arizona to St. Louis. Got him all settled in his new home there, and then flew to LA to watch my son's football game, and then drove back home with my husband. Got back home right Sunday. Today's Monday. On Thursday, we leave to go to Orlando, Florida, because Stanford is playing in Orlando, the UCF, I think. UFC, I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's UFC we're playing. Who knows? But it's just, we're gone. This is our life right now, and it's because we took the time in the beginning to build this business. I saw this huge opportunity that all of you know what we have our hands on. So what you need to do, your daily method of operation is one thing. That's one thing you got to do every day is take action every day. Is don't go to bed unless you have taken action, unless you reached out to a new person. You're always going to follow up with someone, but every day find a way that you're going to connect with a new person. You're going to connect either through your database, if you haven't gone through it already, through finding someone, connecting with them on Facebook, to going to a networking business group, to just going to the mall, the grocery store, somewhere, and connecting with someone if you have run out of names, right? That's what you've got to do. You cannot stop doing that. Look, it's been 9 years, and I connect with people all the time still. I do it more organically now as people are in my life and I bump in and we have conversations, right? Because I've built the business. I'm not out there, okay, I'm gonna, like at the beginning it was hardcore, go, go, go nonstop. So for new people at the beginning, you have to hit it hard, right? You have to hit it hard and go through your database to try to find someone in there that sees this like you so they can run. And then as you're in it longer, it becomes tougher because you've gone through your database, but now you got to be creative. How do I meet new people? So just this morning, I was like, oh, there's a whole slew of new freshmen and there's a whole slew of new freshman parents. So what did I do? I went to the Stanford football parents. We have our own site, and I friended everyone that I hadn't friended before. So I've met probably 10 new people this morning that I friended, right? So I know they're going to start watching me and I'm watching them and I start commenting on their stuff. They start to get to know me. I'm telling you, when you connect with people on Facebook and go, like I'm going to go look strategically for the new people I connected with as they friend me and start replying to their comments and their posts, right? Because then when you connect and see them, it's like you've known them. Like even though you haven't seen them and you don't know them well, but you kind of connect on Facebook. I just had one parent say, oh yeah, that's right, I know you. We're friends on Facebook, because they're always commenting on my stuff and I'm commenting on their stuff. So when they see me, they're already familiar with me. And so I'm very strategically, now that I've got a whole bunch of new people, what I'm posting, right? What I'm going to be talking about, because they're watching me and there's those posts, they're going to see that. So I'm being very, trying to be always piquing curiosity of what I do, what's nerve to activation, what's oxidative stress, posting a picture of some kind of result that someone's had so they can say to me, hey, what's that? Because I get that all the time. Right, I'll see a new parent and they're like, oh yeah, we're friends on Facebook. And what's that you were posting about? What's that you're talking about? So I'm piquing this curiosity, and when they see me, they're asking me about it, right? So that's how I'm connecting with people now. And I did join this year. I went back to joining a networking group, right? A business networking group. The one I joined was BNI. When I first started, because I was in Arizona, didn't know a lot of people. I was part of 2 groups, and one of those groups has turned into a $2 million leg a year in sales. That group is from one person that I met at a networking group, and I was there for about 7 months before anybody joined, right? But making connect, so it took time. It didn't happen overnight. I know so many people join these groups and they're gone in a month. It's like, wait, you've got to, I made a 2-year commitment. I signed 2 years to be part of BNI for 2 years and connecting with people. Has anyone read the book Beach Money with Jordan Adler? No, you got to read that book. You never read Beach Money with Jordan Adler? Oh my God, it's an amazing book. Easy to read. He's with Send Out Cards. Do you know who's in my BNI group? Jordan Adler's in my BNI group that wrote this book, that he's the top distributor for Send Out Cards. We have, and I don't know how this has happened, but we have the top distributor from Send Out Cards, one of the top distributors from Isogenics, one of the top distributors from the CBD oil, my HempWorks, one of the top distributors from, what's the other company? This is crazy, isn't it? Like all these companies that I don't know how they're in this BNI group. I'm like, people, I'm trying to, find someone in here, and of course they are, but we're so cool with each other, and we're not stepping over each other's boundaries and allowing, we have Young Living Oils in there. There's just a bunch of them, but this group is where the goal is to be 100. We're at 75 people in this group. So like I said to them all, there's plenty of people for us, right? So I joined this networking group 9 years ago. I found one person out of there. That person told somebody who told somebody. Today they do almost $2 million a year in sales. That's where my Australia leg has come from someone in there that knew someone in Australia. And so you can't run out of people. There's 300 million Americans, right? They're everywhere. You cannot run out of people. So your daily method of operation is blocking out time to make your calls, to connect with people. So I know Tanya said a lot of people now, the kids are back to school, they're home. You can get lost and never pick up the phone and make a call. So I'm going to give you the tip that I got from Harvard Business Review. So Harvard teaches this, how to increase your success by 300%. This is what they teach. It's block out time on the calendar to do the action to get you the results, okay? You can do a million other things, and I'll go through a daily method of operation, things you can do, but the most important thing you can do is call somebody, is talk to somebody, is connect with them, send them a text message, something that you are going to send them information, what we have our hands on. So that's where you have to get creative. How do I meet more people? How can I meet more people? Because have that list, and every day, I know Stu always says 1 or 2 people a day. So every day, make it that you are not going to bed until you call someone new, connect with somebody new, and you share them. So if you're home, you need to use a calendar. I don't care if you use a phone calendar. Like today, I use my telephone. I block out time on there. I put my follow-ups. If I talk to someone and I've got a follow-up, I put it right in my calendar. But I started with a paper calendar from Costco, $5, $8, I don't know, just a calendar. I have every single year for 9 years these calendars. And in the beginning, whenever I talked to someone, I'd put the name, and if I talked to them and I was going to follow up, I would just put the date in that calendar, and I would highlight it a certain color when they became a customer, highlight it another color when they became a distributor. In the front of it, I put my key, my drip list. You know, I always have a current drip list, right? People that I've talked to and I'm dripping in and they're in that follow-up mode, right? So I kind of have that on my list. So I look at that, and these are people that I'm not following up regularly now. Like I've initially talked to them and I'm not following up now. I followed up 3-4 times and they're kind of in that zone. Oh, not quite sure, not responding. So now I put them in there where I'm following up with them monthly. So once a month I find something, a new study, a picture of something, even a little short testimonial, and I send it off to them just to keep them in the loop. I do add them to my Facebook customer page, and I know you guys have your own Facebook group customer page, so that way they're seeing information, but if they're not seeing it there, they're getting something direct from me to try to keep them in that loop and make a decision to get on the product, right? So what I learned from this Harvard study is you can increase your production by 300% just by blocking out time on your calendar. So you have to decide, when are you going to make some calls during the day? And you've got to use your calendar to block out your life. I'm sorry. I block out everything in that calendar. You know, my family time, when we're going somewhere, everything, because now it's so busy and I can get lost. So you've got to put aside an hour, 2 hours that you are going to hit the phones. You're going to make calls, right? You're going to make new calls and you're going to make follow-up calls in there. If you do this consistently and you set the time, because if you don't block and put that in your calendar that you are going to do that at that time, your fear will take over. You're going to find every excuse in the book. And before you know it, you think you're busy, right? And you are busy with other stuff. You can get lost on Facebook, go read something, go listen to something motivational, all of these things that you can do. And then what happens is you didn't make a call. And that is the most important thing, is to reach out to people, to share with people every day. So block out the time, get a list, and go through that list. If you don't have a list, last resort, you don't have a list, you don't have anybody you can call, pick up the Yellow Pages, my friends. Pick up the Yellow Pages, a phone book, go Google, go Google a massage therapist, Google groomers, pet groomers, veterinarians, chiropractors. Come up with someone you want to call, right? And make cold calls. Do you know how many cold calls I did in the beginning? I did tons of cold calls after I went through my warm market. And plus I was in this networking group. And at the same time, I was blocking time to make cold calls. We would have people come to my house in the beginning and we would all make calls together. And if they didn't have calls, so this week we would do Okay, we're going to call pet groomers, right? And we'd come up with a little script for pet groomers. You know, they don't make a lot of money, but they're with pets. Well, you ask them if they'd like to make, you know, some extra income with the medical breakthrough, or have they heard of NRF2 activation for dogs, right? And make a little extra money on the side and a medical breakthrough for dogs. Can I send you some information just to take a look at it? That's all you want. You want them to look at it. You're looking for the spark. You're looking for the person just like me and Tanya and all of you that are on here that saw that ABC video and were like, I want to know more. That's all you're looking for, a little spark that they want to know more, and then you go from there and see where it leads to. So there's no way that you cannot have a list of names to call. I don't care. You know the Mark Gordon story, right? We had 100 names. Carrie got 50. I got 50. 50 calls, people hanging up on me. I don't know you, stranger. And one person out of those 50 that said, yeah, I want to take a look at it. Okay, I'll look at it. Send me the info, right? One person. So you can't run out of people. You can block an hour, and if you want to do cold calls, you block an hour, and let's say you decide to call anybody in the medical industry, chiropractor, physical therapist, anything like that you call, you're going to ask them one question. Have you heard of NRF2 activation? I'd love to talk to the doctor. And, you know, if you get the doctor directly or the reception, say, I'd love to come in and get a 15-minute appointment to talk about NRF2 activation. They don't know what NRF2 activation is. So right there, that will pique an interest. What's NRF2 activation? What I used to do is I would look at chiropractic. I'll use chiropractic, for example, and I literally pulled out the yellow pages, or I'd Google and find chiropractors within, you know, I do maps. You can do on maps and find chiropractors within 10 miles of you, right? Then you can write all their names down. You can go to their websites. You can get everything on your phone and by Googling. You can look at their website. Do they talk about, I remember one specific person that talked about antioxidants and didn't talk about oxidative stress, but inflammation, antioxidants. So he knew that lingo, right? So you use, you know, hey, I saw your website that you know, that you believe in antioxidants and natural alternatives. Have you heard of NRF2 activation? So what I'm saying is there's, you know, whether it's cold calls, hot calls, warm calls, you cannot run out of people. So if people say, well, I don't have anyone to call, well, then you better start making cold calls and try to get really, really good at it until you get one person that says, hey, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, come in. You got 15 minutes to come in, right? And then you go in and you present them some information and you see what comes out of it. I did a lot of those, then nothing came out of it. But you know what? It was practice. For when the right person came along, I knew what to say and what to answer, right? So look at it as practice. Like, so we were talking about my son playing football, and at some point I've got to get the numbers down, but my son's been playing football. He started at 8, skipped 9 because of my husband, and then back at 10 because of me. You know, because it was his dream, and I loved football, and my husband played football through college. Didn't want him to get beat up. He just wanted him to be older. But so when you start football, right, you got the Pee Wees and the Pop Warner. There are millions of kids that go in, Pop Warner, all excited to play football, right? And then they get to junior Pop Warner, whatever the next level is, and half of them are gone, right? Because it gets tougher, it gets more competitive, right? Then they get to middle school and another half is gone. And then they get to high school and another half is gone. And then, you know, then another half is gone from there. Then they get into college, right? And then to the pros, right? Then it's another half. It's a pyramid, isn't it? You got all these little kids, 9, 10-year-olds running around playing football, practicing, right? And then they're dropping off, and it's only a few that are going to make it to the top. Which few make it to the top, right? I get emotional even thinking about this. Oh my goodness, I don't know why. Oh, all the hours of practice, right? The 5 o'clock in the morning that my husband drove my kids to swim practice, the football practice, right? That's you making those calls that suck. I know it sucks. People saying no, people not interested, but all those calls, doing them day in, day out. Don't give up on this dream, because the freedom you will have Sorry. I just want you guys to have the freedom that we have. It's right there for you. I mean, this has been handed to you, right? To me, I know this was a gift from God. Have you guys seen the movie The Breakthrough? You have to see that movie. It talks about hearing God's voice. And I know that when I saw that ABC, I heard God's voice telling me, here it is, because I was praying for something. And then Carrie comes over, shows me the ABC, and I hear the voice saying, here it is. And I'm like, this? How is this gonna be what I'm gonna do? But I listened and I believed. I wanted to quit many times that first year. You know, those no's really stink. I wanted to quit, but I kept going, and I kept having these arguments with God. It wasn't conversations, it was arguments. That it would be like, okay, this is what I know this is what you want me to do, but why is it so dang hard? Why can't it be easier, right? Why can't all these people just say yes and get it and run with me? You know this is an amazing product. You know we're changing lives with this, but that's not the way it goes, right? And I know all of you are struggling with this, but it's okay. You're on this journey for a reason. Just stick to it. Find things to keep you motivated. So daily method of operation is, first thing is you gotta take daily action, okay? Second thing is you gotta stay motivated. You gotta keep your head in the game. So you've gotta listen to something inspirational, motivational every day. Go on YouTube, type in motivational speakers, find one. You find one that you like every day, listen to them, right? 10, 15 minutes, a quick YouTube video. Get inspired and then make the calls, right? That's what I do. Follow up on the people. You got to do daily follow-ups. You probably have people that you've talked to and now you've set them, down, following up. Follow up on your customers, follow up on your distributors, touch base with everyone, and block these little chunks of time. If you do use social media, 10, 15 minutes to go through and comment on people and put a post up, right? Every day put a post. And every day add people, your audience. You've got to grow. If you're using social media, the key is to grow your audience, post things daily, and then someone is going to connect with you. And then take it offline, talk to them on Messenger, and go and connect with them off of this. Share the information with them. So that's really keeping it really, really simple. If you have any questions at all, you can unmute yourself and I'll turn it over to you guys, and whatever you want to ask, away. I'm an open book.
You're so cute. I want you to know Dawn Turner said your heart is so beautiful, Maria.
Oh, thank you, Dawn.
And then Vicki Meyergard said, she goes, it's as easy as asking, have you heard of NERV2 activation? And then she has this emoji.
It is. That's all you do. That's all you do. Keep it simple. Don't complicate it.
I have a couple stories for you guys too that I thought about, Maria, as you were talking about cold calling. When I first moved to Idaho, you guys, I didn't know anyone. And so cold calling is what I did to get myself out of my comfort zone. And I went to a furniture store once, and I just observed the people that were selling. And there was a guy that caught my attention. I liked his body language with others. I liked the way he was smiling. I got his name. I left there because he was busy. And let's be honest, I was more comfortable calling him than approaching him in the store. And so I went home and I called him and I said, I was in the store earlier today. I loved your approach and your professionalism. I'm looking for people to join me in a brand new opportunity that's coming to the area. Do you keep your options open? He said yes. He had become a distributor. I also got a distributor from a vet that was a cold call. And I did this there's a few times that I have just gotten into my car and driven around. And I will stop at vets. I've stopped at groomers. I got a groomer that became a distributor. I go to chiropractors. And then just today, the networking groups too, Maria, those do take time, you guys. But what I love about the networking groups is you can easily set up the one-on-ones because it's about networking. So the groups I'm in one-on-ones at least once a week, getting to know these people. And when I am in these groups, I have other people reaching out to me because they may see a post I do and they know we have mutual friends. And so they'll friend me. And one of them, his name was Aldo. And I thought he was a female. So this person reaches out to me because it's a man and a woman in the picture. And I just assumed it was just her. Her name was Aldo. And she just said she wanted to get together. She was a financial planner, just wanted to just connect and network. So I literally this afternoon am waiting for a blonde to walk in the door, and a gentleman comes over and says, "Hello, I'm Aldo." And I was like, "I thought you were a woman." That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. I was so taken off guard. But in the end, when I kind of got a grasp on what he wanted from me, I didn't get angry about it. I thought, I'm going to be open about this. And I did most of the I asked most of the questions. He didn't ask me anything about me. I asked most of the questions, but by the end of it, he said, "Who are you looking to connect with?" And I told him, Maria, I said, "Chiropractors. I would love to connect to some chiropractors because I find they're more open-minded when it comes to the kind of technology that I represent." And he said, "I know 3 that if you could give me 2 sentences and send them to me in an email, I will send those to the chiropractors that I know and copy you in, and we can see if they're willing to set up a meeting with you." So you just never know. And it is so natural. And a lot of my networking groups I'm in, the minute I see that they're attracted to horses or they're in the horse industry, I set up a one-on-one. And they always say yes because we have that networking group in common. You just have that thing. So I would highly suggest that as well, you guys.
And you can do, while you were talking, I was thinking of, if you guys are spread out, I don't know where you're spread out, but if you could do a Zoom like this and say, okay, we're all going to make calls today. And maybe you do a cold call so they hear what you say and what you do, right? And then everybody can mute themselves and they can go off and make their own calls. And then we can get back and everybody can tell their experiences. With Zoom today, honestly, there's so much you can do, right? Because if you mute it, then I can make a call and then we could, or if somebody's I want you to listen to what I say and I'm going to put it on speaker and then maybe give me some pointers afterwards. What could I have said or not said, right? You could do that. So if you can't physically get together because you're spread out, then you can, here's support, like let's make calls, right? So it's better if it's earlier in the day, in the night than, later on to be calling people, really late, but especially if you're calling establishments too. But that's another way you can do it using Zoom. Everybody kind of talk about it first, mute themselves and go make calls.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Does anyone have a question for Maria before we wrap up? Three, two, one. Okay.
Well, I hope that was helpful. I hope you got a little bit out of it, a little of inspiration, motivation, because I want to see all of you have success. My heart is, I know this is real and I want it for all of you, but we can't make you do it, right? You have to decide to do it. You have to commit to do it, and you got to do it.
Yeah. Maria, we always wrap up the call with a prayer. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you if you watch this playback. I'm going to stop the recording here real quick.